Hello, guys. So today I'm super excited to walk you through how I make thousands of dollars every month with online surveys, along with hundreds of others inside of my private community. If you ever wanted to make some extra money just by sharing your thoughts, then this is for you. It's straightforward, perfect for beginners of all age groups, and it's a legit way to earn money without getting scammed. I'll go ahead and let you know that you won't get rich overnight, but you can definitely make some nice pocket change on the side. I'll be going through each step of the survey process step by step. And if you want my step by step guide, then check out the descriptions down below for a free copy. So let's go ahead and dive into things here. Starting with chapter one. Chapter one is all about getting started. To begin, you will need to sign up for legitimate survey sites, you need to set up your tools, and you need to spend your time wisely. So the first step is to find reputable sites. Not all sites are created equal, so pick ones that are going to pay you well and have solid reviews. And the way you can do this is by reviewing online forums, blogs, YouTube, check out affiliations with market research groups, or even check out the Better Business Bureau. You want to check for things like proof of payments, screenshots, or testimonials, and you always want to research them first to see if it's a good fit for you. If you want a free shortcut, you can join my community. There's a curated list of over 50 verified survey sites that pay up to $300 per hour. Plus, there's also bite-sized videos. There's a private Discord. You have one-on-one access to me, and most members inside the group make money within their first week. And if you want to join, then just DM me and I'll send it over to you. Now, step two is to create a dedicated email. Use something separate from your primary email, just so you know that this email is primarily for surveys. So just go on Gmail, it's free. Make it your first and last name at gmail.com. Make sure you turn on those notifications so you don't miss the invites. And then step three, use your time smartly. So focus on groups that are going to pay for your time. You want to avoid the like $5 payment surveys. You want to avoid the, anything under $50 isn't worth your time. So stay away from those. I like focusing on high paying focus groups. And this is the perfect side hustle if you want to, just do this on your free time. Maybe you're just lounging around on the couch. You can do surveys, or maybe you're taking your kids to, practice or dance lessons. This is an awesome way to kill time and make money. So when you're first starting off, just sign up for 3 to 5 sites, complete your profiles, and then you'll start getting invites. All right, so chapter 2 here. There's different kinds of market research opportunities. Online surveys are the easiest, but there's other gigs that pay even more. Most of them are remote, some are in person, and a lot of these are going to pay anywhere from $50 to $500 or more dollars. So the first one would be focus groups. These are like group discussions on products or services. They can be online or in person. They last anywhere from 1 to 2 hours. The next one would be product trials. So companies will actually ship you items to test at home, and then you give your feedback after a few days. And most of the time, they let you keep the product, which is pretty cool. And then you have mock trials. So with this, you're going to have to give your opinions on legal cases to help lawyers. These actually pay a lot, and they often give you free lunch because they take a lot more time out of your day. And then there's online surveys. These are quick questionnaires. There's apps and websites for this, and they don't take that much time, but they don't pay as much as something like a mock trial. And many of these can be on Zoom as well, so just keep that in mind. And then there's also medical trials. These are in-person testing for, drugs or treatments. They have strict requirements like age and health, and they usually last over, a certain period of time. These absolutely pay the most, but just be careful with what you're doing here, and they can be kind of hard to qualify for. And then there's also in-home studies. Researchers will visit your home, watch it use the product, and they pay pretty fairly as well. There's also taste tests. I like these a lot. They're fun because companies will, come out with new food or drinks, and they want your feedback, and they pay pretty well. And then lastly, there's D-Scout, which is an app. It's like a market research kind of app or platform, and it allows you to post pictures, take videos. It's very flexible. You can do this on your own time, and the pay ranges with this. But if you're new, I would start with online surveys or focus groups because those are the simplest and easiest to get going. All right, chugging along here to chapter 3. Um, there's some tools that you're going to want to set up when you're first starting off. These tools are free, and they're going to help you in the long run. So first things first is you're going to want to set up a Google Voice number. This is a free US phone number for calls and texts. This is great because a lot of these companies are going to call you directly to participate in a study. So if you have a Google Voice number and you're getting a call, then you know that's someone reaching out for you to participate. So I highly advise getting a Google Voice number to keep separate from your day-to-day number. And then also, you can use websites like Craigslist to check out their gigs and services tabs for local research opportunities. This is great if you want to find something within your local area. And then there's something called a location changer. Don't worry about this when you're first starting off, but some survey providers, they want, participants in a certain city. I live in Dallas, but let's say there's an online survey going on in Chicago that pays $1,000. I might use a location changer to make it seem like I'm living in Chicago just so I can get an opportunity to participate in that survey. Also, guys, my community offers exclusive tips on how to use these tools effectively. There's also a private Discord group to swap strategies with others. You can also get my personal guidance. So just shoot me a message if this is something you would like to join. All right, chapter 4. So now that you know how to get set up and everything, you have to get qualified for the surveys in order to get paid. So how do you get qualified? Well, you don't get qualified for everything, which is completely normal, but these tips can definitely boost your chances without lying about serious stuff like your health. So always be open-minded, say yes to trying new things, like outdoor activities, unless it's unethical or harmful for you. Answer carefully. Take time to actually answer the questions. For the videos, speak clearly, smile, use good lighting, and be positive. And then research the study. Actually read the descriptions to understand what they want, then tailor your answers to fit. Like emphasizing you're active, that's going to make sure that you're a good vibe for the study. And then for food and taste tests, be open to all foods, stay positive. Don't mention allergies unless they're life-threatening. If they are, then avoid these studies. And then mindset, apply strategically, not to everything. Spend extra time understanding each survey that you're applying to. Because think about it, guys. If you were a recruiter, you're going to select someone that's actually, giving value to the answers, because that tells them that you actually know what you're, talking about, and that you would be a good candidate for that study. So don't just mindlessly or carelessly, mess around or put, bad answers. All right, chapter 5. So maximizing your invites for studies. You're going to want to build a profile that stands out to get more opportunities. So make sure you have a strong profile, highlight your interest and your demographics clearly. You're going to have to communicate effectively. There's tools out there like ChatGPT if you need help. Things to avoid: don't submit multiple applications from the same email. It looks like spam, and if they think you're spamming, then they're never going to hit you up in the future. Follow the instructions exactly, never skip questions, stay ethical, and focus on quality to get more invites over time. Also, my community has videos, guides to show you exactly how to craft your profiles that get noticed. There's also one-on-one coaching to refine your approach, start qualifying, so you can start qualifying a lot faster. Again, DM me for details if you want to join my program. All right, chapter 6, common questions that you guys are going to face when doing surveys. They have screening questions, And this is how you're going to improve your chances. Um, be honest where it matters, though, like your health, for example. But if they ask you, have you done a similar study within the last 6 months? Always answer no, because they want fresh opinions. Do you or anyone working in these industries? Always say no because it avoids bias. Do you have kids? So, like, no, unless it's a kid related study. They assume that if you have kids, you're always going to be distracted and you won't have time to actually participate in the survey. Income level, pick the middle options, anywhere from like 60 to 75,000. I always stay above 50,000 but under $100,000 in income, because if they think you're poor, they're going to think that you can't even afford the product that you're speaking about. Or if you make too much money, they're going to think you're too good to even want to try out the product. And then if they ask if you've been sick or had a recent, fever or COVID or anything like that, just say no for health and safety reasons. And then employment status, always pick part-time because it shows that you're flexible. Like if they think you're working a full-time job, then they might not select you because you're going to be working during that study. But most of the time, the studies are either super early in the morning or in the evenings. So just keep that in mind. And then for occupation, you can put really anything for this. Some good examples would be like construction worker, landscaper, small business owner, babysitter. Just pick something neutral that's not really biased. And then for ethnic background, I always pick biracial or mixed just because these survey companies have to fit quotas. And then education level, put some college, no degree. It's common and it's neutral. And then who makes the buying decisions in your household? Always say that you do, because it shows that you're independent and that you make your own decisions. And then if you have a special diet, if they ask if you have a special diet, say no, just so you can keep your options open. And then for the extremes, always pick the middle answer to avoid standing out negatively. All right, chapter 7. These are some common problems. So there are some bad players out there. You can get scammed, although it's not really prevalent. It doesn't happen often. So just be careful with what you're doing there, and then you are going to want to avoid burnout. So with scams, um, they're never going to ask you to pay to be a part of a program. So if you're applying and they're like, hey, they're asking for payment to be a part of the study, avoid that. That's a huge red flag. And then also if they're, promising you the whole world, it's probably a scam. So just trust your gut on this, use unique passwords, and always check the reviews. With burnout, you can prevent this by setting, certain times to dedicate doing surveys. I probably spend about 30 minutes a day. Usually first thing in the morning while I'm drinking my coffee, I'll do a couple surveys, or at night when I'm just watching TV, watching sports, I'll have my laptop open and I'll apply to surveys. So just, figure out a time that works best for you. All it takes is about 30 to 45 minutes per day, which everyone should have, time to do that. And then you're going to want to stay motivated. So track your goals, take breaks, and celebrate the wins. I actually have a calculator that tracks all of my payments and how much time each study took. So then at the end of the week or the end of the month, I can see how much I'm getting paid hourly. It usually averages out to about $200 to $300 per hour, which is really good. I mean, I think like doctors and lawyers probably make that much, maybe not that much, but you know what I'm saying. And then red flags, again, if they ask you for money up front before participating, do not move forward with that. And if you're getting a bunch of unsolicited emails, then just unsubscribe or block that email. And then it's important to, schedule the time that you are going to be doing surveys. And then if you need help spotting scams, or if you're seeing any red flags, my community offers tips and tricks on how to dodge those with our Discord group with real-time warnings. Plus, I do have a list of over 50 verified sites. So just shoot me a DM or contact me if you want more info on that. All right, setting up your profile for success. A good profile is going to get you more invites, so make sure you complete it fully, add details on demographics, interest, and lifestyle, update regularly, review every few months or so, be honest, be consistent with your answers to build trust, and select surveys wisely. Pick the ones that are going to match your profile, and then focus on consistency. And then final tips for you guys here, guys. Start small. So again, start with 3 to 5 sites in the beginning. Build a profile strategically. Track your earnings. Be patient. Results improve with practice. So if you get disqualified often, just adjust based on these tips. Okay. If you're ready to crush it, you want to skip the learning process, my community gives you everything you would need: a list of over 50 verified sites, video guides, a private Discord with hundreds of students inside, one-on-one coaching, and most earn their money and start earning within their first week. Just shoot me a message if you want to get started, but that's the end of the guide. I hope this helped. Drop a comment below with your biggest takeaway. And if you want a copy of this guide, check out the description.